And now KVNU Aggie Game Day continues on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan. A complete recap of all the action of your Utah State Aggies. Phone calls and texts are welcome. Aggie Game Day coverage is sponsored by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, LSS Insurance, Young Truck and Trailer, DD Auto and Salvage, My Mattress, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Elements Restaurant, White Pine Funeral Home, ChemDry of Northern Utah, Aegis Home Health and Hospice, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and Golden Spike Electric. It's KVNU Aggie Call with Al Lewis and Eric Branson.
And our former Utah State Aggie running back Ryan Boehm also joining with us tonight as Utah State loses to BYU. The final score, 38-26 was the score. It was 17-17 at the half. Aggies again went out and scored for the first time this year with the ball to start the game. Went down the field with Cooper Legat, quarterback, 12 plays, and scored as Legat scored on a 7-yard run. BYU then scored back-to-back scores on the Aggies. One was a pick six, and they're up 14-7. Then the Aggies did bring back to 17-14 with the lead in the first half with 5 minutes to play. BYU able to get a field goal with 2.5 minutes to go in the half. And then BYU did start to keep the ball, run the ball, dominate a little bit more in the second half. Aggies were not as effective offensively, but again, in the end, 38-26. Utah State was a 24.5-point underdog going into the game. Aggies were competitive in the football game. Defense had a really good first half, maybe couldn't stop the run as much as we hoped in the second half, but let's go to the guys and see what they had to say. And we want to hear what you had to say as well. Remember, our game day text line's available, 435-339-0321. Did I get that right, Eric?
Yes, you did, 339-0321.
Okay, and our phone number, and I'm going to pull the phone over towards me, and that's 753-5868 if you want to talk about it. And we would say that there should be some stuff to talk about. Last BYU Aggie game we'll see in a while. Okay, let's start. Eric, I let Ryan start last game first. I let you start first.
Well, gosh, really got to hand it to that offensive game plan in the first half. Thought they did a great job. First down efficiency has been a problem for this team. First half of the game, I thought they did great. Cooper Legat and Calvin Tyler and Briggs, all three of them doing a great job of moving the ball on the ground, extending plays and moving chains. Thought they kind of got away from that in the second half a little bit. It became a little bit more vanilla. But
well, they had the ball less too. BYU was able to kind of start the ball control
BYU
on us.
got going more. But that first half was great for both offense and defense for Utah State, and I feel like it probably should have been and could have been even more lopsided in Utah State's favor, outside of a few little mistakes here with a penalty here or the pick six. But frustrating that they still lose. But you see that this team has been making some strides and is improving. It just, this is one of those games that you need that. You want the win. You want the improvement and the win, not to just go away with a loss.
Now, Ryan Boehm, last week you wanted a quarterback change after what you had seen. You thought it was worthy. It happened. I don't know if it happened the way you wanted. It sounds like the baby Logan Bonner was hurt. They probably had the time to kind of get Cooper Legat ready to go in this game. But the change seemed to help the Aggies, at least in this game tonight, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
Nope. And I thought I had your microphone already switched. And let's try that one.
You got me?
Yep, I do now.
Yeah, I was excited. I was excited to see that. First collegiate start, obviously he had, that great bowl game performance, but to come out first game in a hostile environment against a good team like BYU, he had some really good moments. He was able to move in the pocket, which we haven't done so far this year. He made some throws. He ran the ball hard. Overall, in my opinion, if we play like this in the previous games, we're 3-1 right now. With the effort that I saw on defense, with kind of the creativity and taking advantage of the other team on offense, being able to run the ball effectively. Our passing game wasn't super exciting, but it really wasn't the game. BYU was sitting back with 8 guys, daring us to run the ball, and we did. We ran the ball effectively. I think we ran for 200 yards. Like, overall, I'm really, really encouraged with this game. I feel like we can build on that. And you know what? Again, if we play like this, the several games before this, I think are a totally different experience for us. So overall, I'm really encouraged by this game.
The thing is, you look at it right now, where the season is. If Utah State now, they play conference play, they win the rest of their games, they probably still win the division and would be in the championship game. The way that if we're still with divisions this year in the Mountain West Conference, they would probably still win.
There's a chance. I mean, there's a precedence. 1993, Utah State wins their opener. They proceed to lose their next 5. And then they finish out on a 5-game winning streak, go to a bowl game, win their bowl game. So it's been done before. It's not easy. It doesn't get any easier with Air Force coming into town with their unique style. But you know what? This was a game where Utah State didn't have any takeaways.
And are still giving the ball up.
They still gave the ball up. They were better in their penalties. How many penalties did they have on the night total?
Okay, the total penalties ended up being, here we go. The Aggies ended up with 6 for 69. BYU had 10 for 81.
So, you still get 69 yards.
It's 8 for 69. 8 for 69.
3 of those were of the 15-yard variety. So, better. And I thought that the team showed better composure tonight. But
Coach got an unsportsmanlike conduct call. How often have you ever heard that called?
He was fiery on the sidelines, and you know what? I'm okay with your coach fighting for your guys. Yeah. So I thought they showed signs of improvement today, but there were, again, like last week, things that they did to themselves that created opportunities for their opponent, and you can't have that.
Well, we lost the game by 12. You give them a pick 6. So now that's down to a 1-score game if they don't get the pick 6, or you've given them that opportunity. And we have the ball down deep when Lagat looks like he should have been able to grab his own fumble, and he put out his arm, and then he wouldn't pull it in at that time. Then the very next play, BYU fumbles the ball, and our guys are all over it. There's not a BYU jersey anywhere there, and they end up with the ball. The whole crazy deal there.
Yeah. This is a game where we need to get some bounces to go our way.
We got no breaks or bounces or tips or anything that helped us.
We need some calls to go our way. We get a stop on 3rd down. They call targeting, give them another first down. I mean, there was multiple scenarios where you just have to have those things go your way to go win in a hostile environment when you're, such an underdog. So those things didn't go our way tonight. And, to Eric's point, we did still hurt ourselves in a lot of places. But again, going into this game, I was not excited to watch this game, and I was like, oh, this is going to be ugly. We're going to see some more of the same stuff, and we didn't. We saw a lot of stuff we haven't seen, which is what I want to see. Right? I don't expect perfection. I don't think it's going to change overnight. I mean, Cooper Lagat, for a first game, considering everything else, I feel like he went out and did okay. Right? He can play a lot better than that. A couple, bad throws for interceptions. Like, he's going to learn about that. But if we come out with the same energy and a creative game plan next week, we got a chance, right? And Air Force that's a rough game.
We're going to have to control the ball and not let them have it, because that's the way they play. And then it makes you have to be real explosive whenever you feel like you have to be really explosive when you get your ball.
Yeah, I mean, Air Force is the worst. It's the worst game. Defensively, you don't see anything else like it all year. It's hard to scheme for it. They run it so good. You have to be so disciplined, and they just gash you and wear you down, right? And BYU kind of wore us down this game.
Yeah, in the second half, they did some, I think. Yep.
Yeah, I thought Utah State did a great job first half.
Oh, minus totally 21 yards rushing first half or something.
Of the offense, controlling the clock, getting that BYU defense tired, running the ball at them, and keeping their opposing offense off the field. Mm-hmm. But then, second half, it kind of flipped and went the other way around, which is too bad. BYU made some adjustments. Utah State struggled in theirs. Cooper didn't attempt very many passes, and some of those that he did, not on target, not on time. He did make a good throw there for that last touchdown to Cobbs, but a couple other plays, if that throw is on time or with juice to lead his receiver, there could have been multiple big plays. So that's something he's got to continue to work on for this this team to have a chance in the rest of their games this year.
So again, the final score is Utah State losing to BYU by 38-26 is the final score in this game, and Utah State drops to 1-4 on the season. And so conference play continues for him this next week. We will give you an opportunity to use the text line. It is 339-0321. If you want to text in things, you can also call us at 753-KVNU. Ryan Bohm is here to answer all your football questions and specifics about the game and all. Eric and I are here to also look at all the numbers, stats, different things like that as we go on. We're brought to you by Jarek's Fine Jewelry tonight. Again, Jarek's customers are saying, I had an excellent experience. Jarek always takes great care of us. Make it special. Make it Jarek's. And we had a chance to go down and broadcast live last week at Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley's first and only brew pub on Center Street. And again, they have pizza, burgers, and brews. It's a good spot for the whole family to actually have some good fun in downtown Logan. And usually after the home games, some of the Aggie players, they say, go down there. So there are two of our game sponsors on KVNU Game Night tonight, and we're also, of course, on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan. So Utah State loses, but we'll talk about it. We'd love to hear from you, again, with texts and phone calls, 753-KVNU. Let's take our first break as the Aggies drop it to BYU tonight. Again, the final score was 38-26. The Cougars beat the Ags.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
Who do you turn to if you want to change out your wood or pellet stove? Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They were voted the gold medalist for Best of Northern Utah for the second year in a row in the fireplace retrofit category. Be ready when the government's next wood and pellet replacement incentives pop up. Advanced Fireplace can help you navigate the paperwork. For more information, call Advanced Fireplace and Stove, 752-7272. Online, advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Back to school means back to massive laundry piles. Get a washer that can handle your busy laundry schedule. Head to Daryl's today for a deal worth your time. This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance, and we have a GE front-load laundry pair with a 4.8 cubic foot washer and a 7.8 cubic foot dryer for only $17.96 for the pair. Hurry! Stock is limited. See store for details. Daryl's Appliance Service and Sales West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Advanced Fireplace and Stove on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Let me get another mention for one of our game day sponsors on The Fan and KVNU. Hey, when you love your mattress, you'll love My Mattress. They have the best in Telebed, Tempur-Pedic. Again, it's by the South Walmart in Logan. My Mattress. They're also down on Riverdale Road, down there by Ogden. Utah State loses to BYU tonight, 38-26. Ryan Bohm is here, former Aggie running back, and Eric Franson from Full Court Press over on The Fan. We're broadcasting, of course, on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan tonight. And do we have some comments from people so far? On text line, we're waiting for phone calls, too, at 753-5868.
Yeah, a lot of texts coming through. Okay. 6543 said, bad showing from our defensive backs. What they lack in size and speed, they make up for in bad tackling and giving receivers way too much cushion. Why can't we run power I, and get 1 yard on fourth down or punt on fourth down? That was the game there.
No, we had, there was a chance to, when in that third quarter when we didn't get the 1 4th down. They did bring Levi Williams in on the one time in the fourth down and got it, but then this time Cooper went anyway. But Ryan, you were noticing that about the defensive backs in this game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, other than Ike Larson, it seemed like we were always in a trail position. We were always he's the only guy that I saw on a pass that actually was in position to turn and make a play on the ball.
Had his eyes where he could see it and everything, rather than just jumping at arms.
I mean, let's give BYU credit. They've got some really good receivers. And they've got an NFL quarterback. So it's not like, we were playing against UNLV today. This is a much better passing team with a massive line that, gives him a bunch of time. So, I mean, it's a rough situation to be on an island against a legit receiver. But no, there's no question that our secondary is not our strength. Hopefully we can figure some stuff out, play some two deep coverage, get a couple safeties over the top, do something to help them, when they do get beat.
And this next game, obviously, the secondary will be having to tackle and be a part of things, but they can't give up. What was it? Air Force completed one pass, I think, in their last game against Nevada, and it was like a 64-yard touchdown pass. That's you got to be ready for that. Somebody back there, whatever. I think that was what it was, as I recall. We need to pause right now for station identification. We're at the top of the hour as Aggie Call continues here post-game of Game Day.
News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
And like I said, we're here tonight for you. It's your show, always here locally. You get a radio station you can hear we do complete post-game and pre-game coverage of the Aggies and let you know where it's at TV. And again, it's 753-5868, the phone number. Something else?
Yeah, a couple of texts coming through here, as you might imagine, about Cooper Legas and his performance. 9315. I think Cooper showed tonight that he should have been the quarterback from the Weber State game until now. 6206. Impressed with Legas and the offense moving the ball well. Saw some promise with the offense. Got tired of listening to the commentators drool over BYU. Okay. 9310. Does it seem like Calvin Tyler sometimes runs with no forward momentum? Is he trying to make too much happen sometimes?
And then all of a sudden, Calvin would do that. But then he had a couple of really nice bursts tonight in the game. Calvin did. He had almost 100 yards, I think.
He had over 100 yards,
okay.
actually.
I knew it was getting pretty close.
Yeah, there was a couple times where I felt like, he could have, if he had put his foot in the ground and got outside, he could have done some more with it. I really like Briggs. Mm-hmm. I don't know why he's not kind of an every other possession guy. Like, Calvin absolutely has a burst and makes some good runs, but I think Briggs, at least right now, is every bit as good and dangerous as Calvin, and I think he might be a little more downhill.
Seems like that.
I was actually so back to the last couple texts ago where we talked about don't we have power and go get 4th and 1.
We did. We ran some power tonight.
We ran it all over the place.
You wanted to
I've been
get it.
begging for it, right? And it was effective.
Coach Tucker listened to you, right?
It was effective, and that is the type of running game that we need to run. We don't have BYU has the offensive line to run zone. We don't, but obviously. And they've got a good D-line, too. So we can run power and go get 4 or 5 yards. And if we get 4 or 5 yards on first down, all of a sudden our entire playbook is available. Quarterback runs available. Read options available. It's all available, right? And so I think we found something today that we need to continue to do. Now, Air Force is going to try and take the run away. They're not going to run the same defense that BYU did. But it still doesn't – it doesn't matter. You have – enough guys to pick up every dude out there and go get 5 yards.
A couple more texts coming through. 2070 texting in says, love it when we run the ball between the guards. I'm sure if we keep doing that, we'll win. I think there's some sarcasm there. 5634. Cooper Legas needs to start the rest of the year way more mobile than Bonner with crisper passes.
Okay. Passes tonight, you could tell a couple of times if they would have been more. He doesn't have the bullet or the zip to get some of those there. Guys were waiting for him at times, and then defensive guys would knock him over. Maybe one or two might have been pass interference, but it wasn't called that way. But whatever, we've got to deliver the ball a little bit better.
Yeah, I think he's a half count late right now, which you would expect not having any experience. Right, so he's wanting.
And we're talking about game experience because you can practice, but it's nothing like when you finally get in there.
No, it's totally different under the lights. Everybody's moving faster. So he's a half count slow, and that cost us a few times. He's putting a little bit too much air under the ball. He needs to sling it. But in terms of his mobility, there was several times where he probably should have been sacked, where he was able to escape. He made some, I'm going to call them rookie mistakes, throwing back across his body, trying to force it in there when we were like first and goal on the 10, and he almost threw a pick. So he's making some mistakes that an inexperienced quarterback will make, but he'll learn from that. But he's a playmaker, right? A couple other plays, it's like he gets out on the perimeter, finds a guy, hits him, that touchdown at the end. So he can obviously make plays, and his mobility is a real game changer for us because that's the offense we're trying to run, is an offense that requires a mobile quarterback.
And we need that a little bit. If any team puts a little pressure on, you've got to be able to move just a little bit with our deal. And maybe that is what caused Logan Bonner the injury last week of getting hit there. We're wondering that last hit in the game, if that's what it was. Something didn't get better during the week. I wonder how long. I wonder if the coaches knew first thing when they got together Sunday to get ready for this short week game, if they knew it was going to be Legat quarterback. It would be interesting to find out.
That's the real mystery. At what point did they know Logan was not going to be their quarterback and they needed to make the shift to Cooper?
Because the coach acted like Logan was still the quarterback when we did the press conference on Monday, because he analyzed how he did in the game and said he's going to do better in this and that.
And I asked him
you
about
asked
getting
directly.
hit.
Yep.
Yeah. He's tough. Which yes. But he didn't really answer the question.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. Let's see, a couple more texts coming through. 6740 texting in, we will never win without an intermediate throw game. We don't have one.
Okay. What about that, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Everything was either, the 5-yard out or come back, or we were throwing deep. Now, again, I'm going to say when I love something, I love how aggressive we were. We went at BYU secondary in terms of throwing the ball deep. Now, unfortunately, we didn't complete a whole bunch of those. We had a, man downfield on one. Mm-hmm. Legat left a couple short. But I love the fact that we were challenging them deep. We didn't show in this game anything in the middle. The problem was, I think the 2 times we tried to throw in the middle, we threw picks. Yeah, because they sat back there in a zone with 8 dudes. They were rushing 3, sitting back, telling us that we couldn't beat them if we just ran the ball, which ended up being true. So that's a tough game to throw.
And they're not a blitzing team either, too.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think we need to attack more of it. I feel like, especially when we get these isolations on the backside where we got one-on-one, we have to be able to have a guy get open on an in or a slant or something on the backside. So we need to work that in. But against this coverage today, I don't know how we would have had that intermediate throw.
Okay.
Yeah, tight ends.
And
trying to show some tight end.
We hit Brock Lane on the one play where the guy was down. They said the center was downfield. That was a heck of a play. We need to maybe look at that more. And that was a little more of an intermediate thing that turned out to be a longer play too. So we need to take another break. We're hoping to hear from the stadium down there at Provo, the players and coach afterwards. Jason Walker's down there for us. Again, the Aggies lose 38-26 to BYU. They scored with 1:09 to go, went for 2, and it failed to make it. At that point, again, they were down 38-20. At one time, Utah State led 17-14 in the second quarter of this game. First time they've scored in the third quarter this year with the field goal, and it was the first time we scored the first time we had the ball with the opening drive in this game. We'll come back with more post-game, again brought to you by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. You can get into this new Heat and Glow fireplace for a whole lot more less than you think. So get with them online, advancedfireplaceandstove.com, or you can call them 752-7272. Tomorrow we'll be back with more, and love to have you call 753-KVNU, besides the text line 339-0321 on our Game Day Aggie Call postgame on The Fan and KVNU.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We are humbled by and grateful for the tremendous support we have been shown since opening our doors nearly 2 years ago. So we just want to say thank you. On behalf of everyone at White Pine, first and foremost, thank you for allowing us the honor and privilege of serving you and caring for your loved ones. Additionally, thank you for voting White Pine the best mortuary in Cache Valley in both 2021 and 2022.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center are now located in Providence, and Cache Valley's newest and most up-to-date medical clinic located at 2245 North 400 East in North Logan, just south of Cache Valley Hospital. The entire staff and Dr. Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette look forward to helping you and your family at this state-of-the-art medical facility. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is now located in Providence and their new office at 2245 North 400 East in North Logan. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
Don't get caught without power after a windstorm or a major winter freeze. Golden Spike Electric offers Generac backup generators so you can be prepared and keep your home warm while avoiding frozen pipes. Golden Spike Electric is one of the largest Generac dealers around, so you know it'll be installed right. Whether you're a homeowner or an electrician, contact Golden Spike Electric to rest easy the next time the power goes out. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. They also service other models.
DD Auto and Salvage is going to pay you the most for junk vehicles. You can get rid of your junk vehicles today. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
Today. See store for details.
KVNU Game Day continues with Aggie Call. More analysis about today's game and your chance to talk about it. Call 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
And again, 38-26 for BYU over Utah State. The college football Thursday night, of course, had the NFL to battle tonight. Cincinnati 27, Miami 15. Biggest story of that game, guys, it sounds like Tua Tagovailoa really got hit very badly in the game. And again, last week he got thrown to the turf. They're just showing that on ESPN right now where he bounced his head off the turf. And he left the game. You could tell, look, he's coming up to the line, and he said it was a bad back, is what they said last week. But it sure looks like he was woozy in that game last week. He got through the concussion protocol, and now all of a sudden in the game tonight, he's playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and the play is right here where he's rolling over to throw the ball. Here comes the pressure, and they get him out, and he gets his head again kind of thrown down hard, and then he goes back to the turf, and he laid there for a while, and they were worried about him for a long time.
Yeah, taken to the hospital for observation. Now he does have movement in his hands and in his legs, but scary moment for a while there.
And
Tua.
And then Shohei Ohtani had a no-hitter through 7 innings tonight. He's just given up 2 hits in the 8th inning of the game. The Angels are still ahead in their game against Oakland in baseball. So those are the other 2 stories that were going on towards this one tonight. You know, I was just thinking about this, guys. React a little bit. Can you imagine Cooper Legau's resume in college football as his first pass he ever throws as a college football player is a bowl game touchdown? Nobody's ever done that before in the annals of the NCAA they've looked at. And then he comes in tonight in his first start and took the team right down the field for a score the first time we've scored, the first time we've had the ball. He had 4 run plays and a couple of pass plays that were part of that. No, he did have an incompletion, I think maybe in that drive or whatever. And then he scored the score on the first thing. I mean, this guy, he's won 6 state championships individually. I mean, 2 in football as a team, but he won javelin twice and wrestling twice. This guy wants to win.
Yeah, he's a gamer, right? He's a competitive guy, and you can tell he's not really fazed by a whole lot because he's been through a lot, and he doesn't shy away or back down from the moment, and he didn't today. I thought that he performed pretty well. The passing could have been better, sure, but the way he was able to extend plays and move the chains and keep drives alive really gave Utah State a puncher's chance in this game where a lot of us going into the game weren't giving them much of a chance.
Yeah, and this was a perfect environment for him. He's an Orem kid, grew up in the shadow of BYU.
This had to be a big game. I think they said his dad was a BYU fan
was a BYU guy or something. So this was a great opportunity for him to come in front of his family and go out there and play solid. So what I hope to see, and I'm really encouraged by what I saw. what I hope to see is now growth from that. Go watch the film. Hey, you can't throw back across your body late. Hey, McGriff was open. You got to get rid of the ball. Hey, this you went left and then looked right and just threw it without seeing. Like those are the things that an inexperienced quarterback does. Well, you just had a crash course. Next week,
number 19 team in the nation.
Yeah, we got to get better. And I would anticipate that Bonner's still going to be out. And so Legau's going to be the guy next week. Now, who knows? I don't know how much he's Bonner's hurt, and I don't know kind of what the prognosis is for him ongoing. But I would guess that Legau will be the guy again next week. So he'll have a full week of practice. He'll have some extra time because it's an early. We've just had a Thursday game, so he should be ready to go. And Air Force is a completely different beast than what he just played, where we should be able to throw the ball a little bit more against him.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the text line.
Yeah, a bunch more texts coming through. Appreciate your guys' patience.
And our phone line's available too, 753-5868.
5464. At least it was a good first half in spite of the missed face mask block, which allowed the Y's first touchdown, missed targeting, missed push out of bounds on McGriff. Not bad for Legau's first career start considering the alternative. And there's also the missed pick play, which was obvious.
There's every single call, every single bounce, like we were talking about before. It did not help the Aggies at all tonight.
Well, USU
and
has a tip pass and it gets intercepted.
Yeah.
BYU is a tip pass
and they complete it for 20 yards.
The series. Yeah.
And then it's the guy, they said block the guy behind the line of scrimmage. Well, it was still one of those defenseless block situations that they've talked about trying to prevent in college football. And and all that, and
I think the one I'm the most upset about is the McGriff one because I think he scored a touchdown, and so I mean, yes,
it looked like he got his toe in.
He obviously got pushed out by the corner, so then it's fine if he gets back in, establishes 2 feet, and touches the ball. So because if they review that, I think he drags his toe, and that's a touchdown. So
the big problem again is what you've talked about before. Though we line up so far close to the sidelines, it's easy to them just to give them a little shay, and they run out of bounds.
So. The fact that Coach Anderson was losing his mind and then ended up that was the catalyst for that penalty.
It was, yes.
And rightfully so. Like
he's live with that.
He's looking at the jumbotron saying, "Do you have eyeballs?" Like obviously he got pushed out of bounds. So I don't know where the ref was on that one.
And I'll tell you what, Connor Coles bailed him out by kicking the 50-yard field goal at the end of all of that because we at least got something out of that. And he backed up his coach by kicking that field goal from 50 yards.
6410, can you speak to the severity of Bonner's injury, and do you think they stick with Cooper if Bonner is good to go?
We don't have any idea. We're hoping that's what will be talked about in the postgame of when they knew or what's going on or whatever. We'll hear from the coach.
Yeah, we anticipate hearing from Coach.
I've just got to think, no matter what the circumstances are, if he was injured enough now, even if he didn't even dress or anything like that tonight, so they didn't try to pull anything. As soon as they walked in the stadium, BYU could see he wasn't going to play. And so I've got to think that Legau's probably still the guy this week no matter what.
I think so. I mean, if Bonner gets healthy, he'll be the guy. Just with the relationship the coach has, I think almost regardless of how well Cooper plays. But I'd be shocked if he goes from not even dressing, this kind of scenario to all of a sudden ready to go in 10 days. I mean, who knows? You got to give it to him. He is a tough kid who wants to play. This is his last hurrah. Like, if he can go, he wants to go. But at this point, I think it was probably a hard decision to shut him down. So now I would hope their conversation is, hey, we need to get you healthy. And if that means you need to sit out for 2-3 weeks, like, that's what we got to do. So, and I hope that's what happens. I hope that he sits out until he's healthy. And when he's healthy, if we need to make a change, I'm all about that again. But until he's ready to go, then Cooper needs to be the guy.
The one thing you could almost see is you could run an offense, but if you get to the point where you have to throw the ball a little bit more, then maybe Bonner could come in, but Legau can run a little bit more of this stuff if the faster pace offense is working, and then you use maybe I know you don't like to use 2 quarterbacks. Nobody does like to do that, but there might be something there that might work.
Yeah, if obviously Bonner's a better passer if he's healthy.
Yes.
So that's the big caveat for me. I mean, Laga is the more mobile. He brings another element. But yes, in a 2-minute scenario where we just have to sling the ball, if Bonner's healthy, he's going to open up a lot more of those options for us. But I think he's hurt. I don't think he's ever been well, and he got dinged a couple times last week. That stuff doesn't heal quick.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, a couple more texts coming through. 4151. Couple sources tell me that Laga is not on scholarship right now. Can you confirm if he's on scholarship or not? I'm not sure he'll stay next year without a scholarship. And also, shout out to Connor Coles for being consistent for us. I'll bet BYU would gladly trade us kickers.
Boy, the BYU kicker is really under fire. That's for sure.
I don't
Oldroyd.
I don't know who is or isn't under scholarship for Utah State football.
They gave a scholarship to Connor Jones right before the season started. Cooper Jones, the punt returner. So I can't remember exactly how Laga came here as a recruit. I know he was an in-state guy, and sometimes the in-state ones, they do some other things or use some other things to get him here. At this particular point, I think with what he did in the bowl game, he deserved to get one no matter what. And they gave him most of the major first team reps in spring football. They decided again. Remember, the coach said he didn't beat out Logan Bonner at that particular point, but Bonner wasn't participating in spring. But he didn't do enough to when they got to the fall camp to think that Bonner wasn't still the number one. But he deserved that.
I'd be shocked if he's not on scholarship. I mean,
I would be
who
shocked.
knows? But I'd be shocked.
Let's see here. 5452 texting in. Aggies looked like a different team tonight. Gives a little hope for the rest of the season. Do we know any more on the injury to Bonner? No offense, pun intended. I hope Bonner doesn't step on the field again unless 100% healthy. And then Anderson just confirmed in postgame that Bonner is out for the season.
Oh, so it is a season-ending injury. Okay.
And while you guys were talking before I read that, I was on social media.
Okay.
And
we're waiting for Jason and the comments that the coach will make, and we'll get those as soon as everybody's done being interviewed and be able to play them here too.
So it looks like Logan Bonner is likely done for the year.
So it is between now Cooper Laga and Levi Williams, I would imagine. Although I know they like their freshman guys, but those two guys right now. That's too bad.
That really is too bad.
You don't want his career to have to. He's had so many injuries and starts and stops throughout his entire 7 years. He's one of only 23 guys, is it, in college football that are doing their 7th year with the way COVID worked out and injuries and everything like that. I think that's something like that.
Yeah, so. That's too bad. I mean, I can empathize of your career ending with injury.
You know about how that felt,
and not being able to walk off the field that last time and kind of mentally and emotionally go through that. So that's really too bad for him. I mean, I've been obviously pushing for a quarterback change, but there's a difference between a quarterback change and somebody getting injured and all that. So that's too bad. But if that's the case, at least we know. And now it's like, Laga, this is your team. Everyone's behind you.
Yeah.
You get all the reps. And that's important, because if you're a quarterback and you're always looking over your shoulder and the next guy's breathing down your neck, like that's unneeded pressure. I think right now this is his job, this is his team, so step up and make it happen.
Okay. So now we know.
3714 texting in. Riley Nelson on the BYU Network pregame show said the only key to the game tonight is this: Utah State will come out with the belief they can play well and win this game. BYU has to take that belief away from them. And then he adds, took a little bit of time into the second half before BYU actually did that.
They came out of the locker room and decided that they were going to go right at us and came right down the field and scored and got and still it's only a 17-17 game at that time, so they're not out of it or anything, but they definitely felt like going to the locker room. It was that Utah State played better in the first half than BYU did, for sure.
Yeah, no question. We did play really well in the first half. I was a little concerned in the second half that their size and everything was going to start to wear us down, and it just did. Right?
Did they adjust how they ran their running plays to get some yardage finally?
They brought in that other back,
the bigger guy.
I think he's better.
The quick guy was really fast, and then the bigger guy finally beat us too.
They also committed to the run. Mm-hmm. In the first half, I don't know how many rushes they had, but they didn't have a lot. They didn't have the ball in the first half, frankly, and they just wanted to throw it. And then in the second half, I think they just said, look, we're going to run the ball at these guys. And they did. And they kind of did what they wanted in the second half, running the ball.
Let's see, a couple more. 6823 texting in. At least had some pride in the first half. Got a new quarterback, but the OC's calls are still bad, and wide receivers are lazy and soft. And then added, we never throw a quick slant or on our wide splits. Okay. Yeah, that's an ongoing problem.
Do we need a quick slant type game?
I think so. If you're going to,
which starts to get a little more to that intermediate area because a guy can catch it and run a little bit.
Yeah,
sometimes
if you're going to split a guy out that wide, there's no. I mean, he can only go a certain way, right? So I don't know why
he
we
can go
don't,
vertical or in.
I don't know why we don't take advantage of that, but yeah, that's a question in my mind.
6021, ticked it, coach. Feels like we could have had 3 more wins and maybe had a chance to win tonight if he would have realized sooner that Bonner wasn't right. Props to Coop. Tough situation to be in, and coach better realize it also. 5442, do you think Coach Anderson's 15-yard penalty really hurt the Aggies? The leaves look very good. Okay, I know who that is. Thank you, 5442. Okay. He was talking about the leaves in Sardine Canyon.
Okay.
Did that hurt the Aggies? No. I think it helped fire up his team. It didn't cost him points necessarily, thank goodness. But look, it was a questionable call that needed to be fought for on the sidelines. I don't fault Blake Anderson for the penalty. It's a little unusual that you see a coach get called like that, but coach needed to be fired up and fighting for his guys.
It was fourth. It would have been if maybe the call wouldn't have happened and all of those things. It might have been a 4th down and 8 yards to go at the 18-yard line rather than back at the 33-yard line is where eventually they kicked from.
We still end up getting the field goal.
Probably would have kicked the field goal there anyhow.
Yeah.
Probably.
You know what? He probably said some bad words in Provo, so they threw a flag on him. But, that's okay.
6543, what needs to happen for these in-state rivalry games to continue?
They have to feel like that what has to happen in college football, there's going to be 9 conference games for the most part, it sounds like, with these major conferences eventually. So they're going to have 3 other games that they can schedule. And they're going to have to understand, and I think eventually if 12 teams can get in, you can have 2 losses and still be one of the top 12 teams that get into the playoffs, depending on how you do in your league and all those kind of things. And, BYU and Utah State, they should play us, and then they've got 2 other games so they could, and then they play each other. They got 1 other game, and then maybe they play Weber State or Southern Utah or whatever is kind of something else, and maybe we do the same thing with our preseason too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going away.
It's gone. It's gone right now because
the pressure will be to play other Power 5 schools to build your resume,
and then they can have the 2 losses and one of them's a tougher opponent and things like that.
You might play one G5 school a year, but they'll spread it around like who they play.
And they're not coming to Logan anymore. Too.
No.
And we've found that out even in basketball. They're not coming to Logan anymore.
Utah showed us that pattern.
Yeah. So. Let's take another break here, and hopefully we'll get. Oh, it looks like the stuff's coming in, so we'll get it loaded up from Provo about what the Aggies said after the game, and we'll find out more what the coach said about Logan Bonner's situation. Again, it's 38-26 for BYU. We'd love to hear from you. Again, we'll play this down there, and then we'd love to have your reaction with phone calls 753-5868 or a text 339-0321. Brought to you by Alpine Home Medical. What sets them apart is their superior level of quality service they provide. Compression stockings, CPAP supplies. We've got lift chairs, oxygen supplies, all of that. Your one-stop home medical supply dealer. Again, Alpine Home Medical and LSS Insurance. When you're feeling overwhelmed with Medicare rules and regulations, LSS will get you into the right Medicare insurance plans, maybe at 0 cost to you. So 752-9493. Give them a call tomorrow, and we'll be right back on The Fan and KVNU after this.
This is Chris from the Cater Shop Menswear Store. We believe how you look is the first message you deliver. This also includes our floors at the store. Daryl at Chem Drive Northern Utah and his team came in after hours, cleaned the entire store, and had it ready to go before we opened the next day. I trust Daryl and his team from Chem Drive Northern Utah.
Chem Drive of Northern Utah. Chem Drive of Northern Utah. 435 752-6100.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
Elements has delicious lunch specials, 2 for $30, or the new soup, salad, and bread special for just $10. It's tasty and quick. Elements' lunch menu is full of scrumptious items prepared with a personal touch. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecue chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite Munster Burger. Casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9 p.m. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations today.
Are you a small business owner? Who's your bank? This is Bruce Rigby. I want to invite you to bank with us at Cache Valley Bank. We specialize in helping small business, and we have great people. That's the Cache Valley Bank difference. Decisions made locally, without all the red tape, by people who care and know how to help small business. Cache Valley Bank, growing, expanding, and proud to have our roots firmly planted in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Again, it's your show. We appreciate you very, very much joining with us again, always. Again, Ryan Bohm, former Aggie running back. Eric Franson from Full Court Press over on the Fan Afternoons from 4 to 6 with Jason Walker. Al Lewis here, and Jason Walker down at Cougar Stadium has just sent us all of the post-game. So let's go down there and listen to it. Tonight it's brought to you by Thermo Fisher Scientific. Makes the world healthier and cleaner and safer is what Thermo Fisher Scientific is all about. So they're going to start off with the coach.
Best we've played all year. You know, the encouraging part is that the guys aren't giving up on the process and we're getting better. Thought we played as good as you can possibly play in the first half. Clearly the game started getting away from us in the third quarter. Their offense got going and started kind of taking over the game. But kids never quit. We played our best game of the season at the right time. Gave ourselves a chance to be competitive. I wish we'd been able to convert there and go down and find a way to score and really make this thing interesting. But just their physical front got us off the field when we really needed to convert. I thought Coop did a great job. He prepared all week, really exactly the way you asked him to. He's been ready for this opportunity, and he did enough things to help us win the game tonight. We had some breakdowns in a couple other areas that just didn't give us a chance. But that team that played tonight, if we'll play like that every week, gives us a chance to win as we start conference play next week with Air Force coming in. Every week's going to matter, and we can't afford to let another one slip, having lost to UNLV. So, what questions do you have?
Hey, tell us what you thought was impressive about Legaut's play.
Just how poised he was. He did a great job. He which is exactly who he is. That's why he came into the bowl game and won that game. He's prepared the right way. As I mentioned, he's waited his opportunity. When it showed up, he did a phenomenal job. I'm sure like any quarterback, there's a couple plays he'd love to have back, but, man, he gave us a chance to win. And he's going to continue to get better every week he goes out.
So run blocking for that guys did a lot better than you have in the past games. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I was really, really pleased how we ran the ball, especially early. It got harder as the game went on. They made some adjustments. We, that's something we've been missing, something we've needed consistently, able to move the chains like we did. And kind of tell two halves. You couldn't do it any better the first half, and we struggled a little bit late as the game continued, but it's something to build on for sure.
Coach Anderson, I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about Logan's injury? Is there any chance that we're going to be able to return this season?
No, he's done. He'll unfortunately, we had it looked at several times this week, and hoping we get different information. But just as you look at it, it's going to need surgery. It'll be surgically repaired next week. Same foot that he broke last year in the off season, almost same place. Going to need more work, more hardware to get him recovered so he can kind of move on with his career. But this is Coop's team, and he'll do a great job. As I said a few weeks ago, I have no doubt about what he's going to be able to do, and he played like it tonight.
What's Alfred Edwards' status?
He's daily. He's day-to-day. It would have been high risk to put him out there tonight. Not sure how effective, but I do anticipate he will be ready next week. He's just dealing with an ankle sprain that wasn't quite ready today.
Kind of drifted away from the passing game in the second half. What was the game time?
I think numbers in the box, they went to a lot of drop 8 in the second half and really a very light box. We'd had success running it early. They kind of put us in a situation where we're not going to let you throw it over our heads. And they felt, I think, good enough with how big their front was. They could bottle it up, and honestly, really, they did. You can't put a quarterback out there throwing in a drop 8 all night without bad things happening. So we were hoping that we could get it going again with the run game where they'd have to commit more bodies to the box, and we just weren't effective at it enough. First half, we were able to make them commit bodies. It's kind of a tale of two halves. Their strength, their size just kind of took over up front.
Coach, what are some of the emotions from the team? It seemed like this game was really high energy, and it's the last one in the series, so what's just kind of the feelings of the series ending and just the way y'all played tonight, getting the loss?
Well, you want to win. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to find a way to win. And I thought we put ourselves in a position to be there. In the fourth quarter, still in question. 11-point game, kind of like last year. Right at it. If we get a first down right there, if we move the chains, who knows what happens. We don't. They made the play. We didn't. And it's kind of downhill from there. But you want the kids to get the win. But I also believe we won in a way that our kids are starting to gain confidence in what we're capable of doing. And I'm not sure we've had a lot of that up to this point. It's been frustration and no consistency, but tonight all three phases of the ball did things that will allow us to be competitive in every conference matchup. And at the end of the day, in that sense, we got better. We can gain confidence from it. I wish we'd have got the win. Wish we'd be taking the wheel home. Nothing like winning the last one. That'd be awesome. But I still believe our guys did so many good things. We're going to work on those things and build on those things. It's going to make us a better football team.
Is there any word on when the rivalry might resume?
Oh, I don't know. You have to ask somebody way above my pay grade. I don't get involved in that.
So a couple turnovers in the first half and kind of costly. You feel like you might be leading at halftime without those 2 turnovers?
Yeah, I mean you can't. I mean, a good football team, you can't turn the ball over. You can't. So we got to get rid of those. Ball tip, nothing he can do. He's going to the right spot. Ball tip up in the air. The fumble, that's one we got to secure the ball. I'm sure he's sitting over probably thinking about that one right now, but that's part of it. He did so many good things. I don't want that to overshadow how well he played. We can't turn the ball over, and we did. We did stay away from the big penalty tonight, which was in an energy-charged environment. That was a step in the right direction. Only got one of those was me, and I meant to at the time. Was fighting for our guys, and luckily our kicker bailed me out and made the field goal anyway. So,
Coach, can I ask you about 2 plays that happened along y'all's sideline? The first one when McGriff, when they call him for running out of bounds, and then the second one, the targeting in the third quarter that extended BYU's drive.
Yeah, they missed the call on McGriff. He was forced out. He came back in and he caught the ball. And if they're asked, I think they'll tell you that. They pretty much told me that in the second half after they had a chance to watch it at halftime. So I get it. It's a judgment call. It happens bang, bang. He felt like he ran out on his own. I think once they took a peek at it over the break, I think they felt like maybe they missed that one. The targeting, I clearly don't know what targeting is. I thought he led with the shoulder. I think the head contact is incidental, which should not be a targeting, but once they call it, the kid's done. The one I think that was missed was the crackback block on our sideline that should have absolutely been 15 yards and should have been offsetting penalty. So, they got a tough job. I get it. Wouldn't want to do it, but I thought there were several critical calls tonight that could have swung the game, at least the momentum of the game, that definitely did not go in our favor. But we stayed away from the personal foul, the unsportsmanlike. We stayed away from those. Those have been plaguing us. In that sense, we did a great job because this was a very competitive, chippy, rivalry type environment, which you expect, and we stayed away from those. A couple guys actually, Byron Vaughn was put in a position where he had to walk away from it, and the official said he did a great job. So, again, another step in the right direction for us to be a better football team moving forward.
Coach, Calvin Tyler got over the 100-yard mark for the second time this season. What did you like from him tonight?
I thought both those running backs ran very, very well. I thought we did a better job of getting downhill when we needed to. We've been kind of bouncing things and dancing, and we didn't tonight. We stuck our foot in the ground. We got downhill. The O-line did a great job, especially early. It was much tougher later in the game, but that was what kind of kept them in a position where they had to play coverage the way we wanted them to, not the way they wanted to. As the game went on and the run game kind of dried up a little bit, that's when the drop 8 stuff comes in, and it's really tough to move the ball at that if you can't just carve them up. But I thought he and Briggs both ran extremely well.
Kind of on Briggs, he had really good start in the first half. I think he only had a couple carries in the second half.
He got dinged up a little bit. It's a physical game, and I'm not sure if he didn't really ask. Not sure if he's ready to go back in or not. But also, Calvin was running the ball extremely well.
Coach, what adjustments did you make from the last few games where you've seen some losses going into today, and what will you take from this game moving forward?
We really haven't made a ton of adjustments. We just stuck to the process. This is a young team. We got a ton of guys that play in their first ball, 15 freshmen, redshirt freshmen playing. I don't know the number, but 20-plus guys playing their first Division I football. And the growing pains have taken a little longer than we wanted it to, but basically we just continue to work the way we've always worked. And leadership is starting to emerge. Confidence is starting to build. They're starting to really take ownership of the team in ways that we weren't doing a month ago. And the team's starting to look like what we think they're capable of. So I just told them in the locker room, the reason we played like we did tonight is because they haven't given up on the process. They've earned the right to play better by working and carrying themselves daily. But there's no magic formula. It's just continue to do the little things right every day. And this group has been phenomenal in that sense. It's just the results have not come as quickly as we all like.
So with Lagan, the quarterback, how much does the running game kind of evolve in your offense when you got a guy like him?
Well, he moves the ball really well with his feet. One of the issues we were having with Logan was just his not being as mobile as he was a year ago. This opens things up. We clearly used his legs a lot. Levi, doing the same thing. It'll make defenses have to defend the extra runner, and he likes to run. That's good too. I mean, he likes to run, so he looks for the opportunities to do so. It will balance the field out a little bit in ways that Logan just wasn't able to with just not being as explosive as he's been. I don't know if I've ever used the word explosive with Logan before, but he was not as efficient running the ball in the early part of this season as he was last year.
Coach, you talked a little bit already about Logan Bonner, but can you elaborate just more just the impact losing him has just with his leadership?
I thought he did a great job tonight. Coop may tell you the same, man. He stayed right in there. He's been great with him all week. He wanted Coop to have a huge game. They pull for each other. And that's what I don't know if people understand just how tight-knit this group is. His eyes will be good. His vision of what's going on will be good. We'll keep him as involved as we can. The system will stay the same, but it will create some opportunities with Coop's legs, and it'll maybe balance some defenses out where maybe they didn't think quite the same when Logan was out there. And he did a great job. Sucker helped us win a championship. I hate it for him. I hate this is how his career comes to an end for us. But man, he gave everything, and I love the way he handled himself all week and how he encouraged Coop all night.
Coach, you alluded to it, but Connor Cole's coming in hitting that 50-yarder, especially when he hasn't had a ton of kicks in game experience this season. How clutch is that?
Well, I thought it was huge, and I went and told him thanks for bailing me out because I didn't put ourselves in a good. He's good inside the 35. I knew that, and we were still in that mark, but still putting more pressure on his 15 yards. He didn't have to deal with. So thanks for bailing me out. I appreciate it. He's been really consistent in practice. He's done a great job. We haven't used him a ton. But he's going to make a kick down the stretch somewhere that's going to really, really matter. That one mattered at the time, but there's going to be a game winner somewhere along the way that I feel like he's got the confidence to go out and do that right now. Maybe I would say even more so than he did a year ago. So proud of him.
I know your mind's probably not on this right now, but you get some extra time to prepare for the triple option. How helpful is that?
Yeah, no, that's good. We need it, and my mind is on it. As soon as it went to zeros, I mean that's what's next. We'll let them rest up, heal up in the next couple of days, physical football game, but we'll get an extra practice in on Sunday night that we normally don't get in a normal week, so it does benefit us in that. And there's never been a more important game for us. So I don't know who's listening. We need you. We need the place packed. I mean, we still can control our destiny in this league, and the team that I saw tonight can beat anybody in our league if we play like that every week. So Aggie Nation, I don't know what you're thinking about doing next week, but we need you there loud and helping our guys that need you more now than they ever have.
They announced that's a 5 o'clock game on Saturday for homecoming for the Air Force game. It'll be televised by FS1, I think it is, for the game. Or I think that's right, what it was. Yep. Okay, so thoughts of what the coach said, and then we'll get to the players here in a moment or two. But I think he validated a lot of the things, Ryan, that you've been talking about. But I think I think we figured out that they knew all week long that it was going to be Cooper Legat quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, this is a chess game, right? They're not going to come out and announce that and let BYU know and have to, change the scheme up. And
Nowadays,
stuff.
it's so hard to keep everything like that under wraps,
Yeah,
though,
so
until it really starts to break around today. I mean, I had heard something. What was it? Tuesday or Wednesday? It had to be Wednesday that I'd heard something, and then I heard another one yesterday. It was even more reliable. I thought, okay, man, something's maybe going on here, but okay.
Well, I think, more than anything, I agree with Coach in that the team we saw tonight can beat anybody in the Mountain West. And that's a fact.
Because the Mountain West is not great.
Everybody is struggling, right? You got BYU, or not BYU, Boise State firing their OC, quarterbacks now going in the transfer portal. Like, there is no team that is just dominating anybody. And it's like any given Saturday, you could go out and win a football game. So he's absolutely right. If we bring that team to the next game and maybe a couple calls go our way, we make a couple, less mistakes, and we can win some football games. So that's very encouraging. I'm glad that he feels like we're getting confidence and guys are starting to roll. And I think what we saw in the first half was that. The guys were there, right? We were making stops on defense. We were making tackles. We were flying around. We couldn't do it for 4 quarters, but we did it for a half that looked really nice. And, yeah, I mean, that if we can start to build on that, then, we still got a chance of something fun this year.
I like what Coach how he talked about. This is a team that's gaining in confidence. They're believing, or they're not giving up on the process, and they're
despite
gaining
losing
in confidence.
games and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, they're 1-4, but they are getting better every game, which is it's still frustrating that they're only 1-4, but I think that there's a path that we're starting to see materialize that can give them some better chances. Now, they still have to do things the right way. There's still things that happened today that they hurt themselves as much as BYU executed well with what they were doing. But compared to the previous weeks, it's trending in the right direction. Will it be trending enough to get a win next week? Well, that's going to be a tough order. But besides that, though, you can tell this is a coach that really loves Logan Bonner, and he's really bummed that his football career is virtually done.
Well, they've been together 7 years, so
been together a long time, and credit to Logan Bonner being on the sidelines, helping Cooper Legat, what he's been doing during practice this week, still being engaged and trying to help his team win, even though he can't be on the field
with a hurt foot. That you got to stand on at practice. He can't sit there and watch. He's got to stand there and watch. That's the way it kind of works in those kind of situations. The 2 drives by BYU to start the second half that resulted in touchdowns, and we got a field goal out of the first one of ours, and then the next one we're sitting there with we get the ball to about midfield, and we get the pass to Briggs, but we can't complete that, and then they eventually. They didn't score the next time because they missed the field goal, but we didn't make the 4th down conversion there. The game's 31-20 at that time. You make it and we score and make it a 31-27 game, or maybe they go for 2 and make it 31-28 or whatever. Might make it kind of more interesting for sure. But those 2 drives to start the second half, big. We got players coming up, and we've got more comments from you in the text line about what the coach said. You can call us, 753-KVNU. Brought to you tonight by Daryl's Appliance. Remember, no need to shop the big box stores. Fridges and freezers and washers and dryers and ranges and dishwashers are at Daryl's. Again, KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, the great names are available in beautiful downtown Benson. Our game day continues in just a moment. Again, BYU 38, Utah State 26, the final.
Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance. I get asked all the time, do I have to sign up for Medicare? Check out our website, lssins.com, or call 752-9493. Medicare doesn't have to be confusing. We have the answers to all your questions and will help each step of the way. With decades of experience, we'll guide you through each step. There is no cost to work with LSS Insurance. We make Medicare easy. Call 752-9493.
We are Aegis Home Health and Hospice. Aegis, A-E-G-I-S. Our home is your home. We are more than an organization of healthcare professionals. We are proud members of our community. Compassionate, quality patient care is our mission. I am Jason Jones. I'm a proud member of the Aegis team. At Aegis, we're dedicated to character, experience, and trust. Aegis Home Care and Hospice. We will ensure you experience the difference. 435-723-9000 or find us at myaegis.com.
Life is hard, so making sure you find that perfect woman is important. You need someone that will be by your side through the good and the bad. Once you have found her, show her that she is special with a beautiful diamond ring from Jerix. Yes, it is all about the romance. At Jerix, you won't find a more intimate setting. Where you purchase the ring might not be as important as who you choose to marry, but it's pretty close.
Jerix fine jewelry. Make it special, make it Jerix.
Thermo Fisher Scientific is hiring for their manufacturing, distribution, and warehouse team. And that's great news for anyone seeking a rewarding career. Thermo Fisher offers positions across multiple shifts, competitive compensation, health benefits, paid time off, bonuses, and an excellent work environment. Help Thermo Fisher make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Visit job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific is an equal opportunity employer.
KVNU Game Day returns with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, Eric Frenson, and Ryan Bohm.
Thursday night Aggie football and dropped to 1-4 on the year. The last BYU-Utah State game. The Aggies will end up with 3 losses at the end of this series, which could be done after, again, 100 years, and this was the 91st ever BYU-Utah State game. And ever since former Aggie Lavelle Edwards took over at BYU, BYU has turned the series around where the Aggies had it go in their direction. First part of it all, but 38-26 the final score. So now I know we got some more comments from you. Again, more text can be there. We'll get to that in a minute, but we do have Cooper Legaut's comments after the game. So the press had a chance to talk to the Aggie quarterback. Legaut tonight goes 19 of 31, 188 yards, 2 scores, 2 interceptions. He rushed the ball 19 times, 52 yards, so averaged 2.7, but did get a running touchdown, the first touchdown of the game. And it's brought to you by S.E. Needham Jewelers. 125 years shopping at S.E. Needham Jewelers is a tradition for thousands of families for, again, diamonds and jewelry and great gifts.
Cooper, 10 yards from where you played high school ball, how did it feel to come down here and play as well as you did?
Obviously would have liked to win, but I mean, it's cool finally playing a full game. And I mean, as fun as it is to be the guy, it hurts that much worse to lose. So like, yeah, it's fun to finally be out there and be the guy, but at the same time, the losses hurt a lot worse. So yeah.
Guess you had a lot of family in the building tonight.
I mean, honestly, they were trying to keep it low that I was going to be the guy. So really only my close family was here. So, and then just, I don't know. I know everybody down here. So they were here cheering for BYU, but they know me. So.
When did you find out you were going to start tonight?
I mean, Logan broke his foot last play of last game. I knew right away. So.
It's just kind of the team kind of keeping it down low.
Yeah, I mean, me and Logan are really close, so like we were talking too. So I knew before everyone else, but like, yeah, I've been preparing all week.
What do you feel you did well tonight that you want to bring into the next week's game?
I think I competed as hard as I could, but at the same time, I think that made me do some stupid things. So I think bring that same competitiveness, but only up to a certain point, take care of the ball, don't throw the ball where it doesn't need to go, and hold on to it. So.
What kind of improvement have you seen from this team through the first month of the season?
I mean, I've seen the defense get better every week. I feel like each week they find a way to come up with big stops, and the offense just has to match that. It's like if they get a big stop and we don't score, then it's just all downhill. But like if we can match the defense when they get a stop, if we can put points on the board, then I think it just gives us momentum to keep rallying. So I think our defense is improved every week, and then I think the offense just has to get better at capitalizing on their stops.
Cooper, can you tell me about that moment at the end of the game, talking with Puka, Kingsley, others, realizing that there's just this contingent of Orem High guys that have been so accomplished already at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, I love all those dudes, and I think the ones that did play tonight, it sucks not having Puka and them out there with injuries, but it's cool to compete against your friends. Like, I still talk to Ethan and Puka every week, so it's cool to be out there playing against them. It was cool to just be on the field the same time as, like, Ethan and Jacob. It's just, I've thought about being in this moment, like, my whole life playing here, and then for it to actually happen was cool. But, yeah.
Cooper, I mean, you guys, offensively, the first quarters have been a struggle this season, and you had some good plays as a team last week, but went out there in that opening drive of the game, marched the ball down the field. How gratifying was it to kind of maybe buck the trend there and get some momentum going early?
I mean, it felt awesome to score the first touchdown, but got to find a way to keep it going the whole game. Usually we're a second half team, kind of flipped it this week, came out, played strong the first half, had some mistakes in the second half, so just finding a way to put both halves together and we'll be solid.
Cooper, what's one play that you're just going to be kicking yourself over? And then on the flip side, giving yourself some love, what's just one play that you're really proud of that you were able to have tonight?
In my head, the worst one is, I can't remember how much we were down, but I threw a deep ball to Terrell Vaughn. He jumped up, incomplete, could have been a PI, but I saw him beat the guy, didn't want to overthrow him, and just threw a terrible ball, so he had to slow down, jump up. If I just put it out there, that's a touchdown. It's a whole different game.
Yeah. Do you have one that you're proud of yourself?
No specific play, but I think it was cool to go out and score on the first drive. So.
What kind of mentor has Logan been for you?
He's been cool all year. Just anytime he has to come out, he's right there in my ear telling me what he sees. And, like, I've had his back the whole year, too. Like, I mean, a lot of the stuff he's doing, like, there's random crap, but, like, it doesn't look good sometimes when there's all these turnovers and all that. I've had his back. I'm not, like, talking behind his back saying, oh, I should go in, I should go in. I've been there for him, and it's cool now that he's out. He's totally been supportive of me and just trying to help me see what he's been seeing out there and everything. So he's right. We're way close.
Cooper, are you bummed that this is going to be your last chance in your career to play BYU?
Yeah, I wish we could play him again right now.
There is Cooper Legas from Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Guys, your thoughts? I'll just go with Eric first. What did Cooper say?
Well, first, I have to give Cooper credit for what he said about Logan Bonner. Just making sure everybody knows that he's had his back. And he's appreciated that Logan Bonner has always had his back, that he hasn't been going around saying, he deserves to be the quarterback or he should start over Logan, despite all the turnovers and things like that. And just they're very close, and they help each other out and been very supportive of him and has appreciated Bonner's support of Cooper.
And Ryan?
I just loved his demeanor. You can tell that that was important to him. You can tell that it stings. And that's something you can't teach. You can't teach that competitiveness. You can't teach. I mean, I've always told people that I hate losing way more than I like winning. And the fact that he can go out there and have his first start, be in his backyard and all the people and everything else, he wasn't gushing about that. He's like, look, you know what? That was a dream come true, but I wanted to win the game, and I made some mistakes, and this, that, and the other. I love that demeanor, because what that means is that kid's going to go back to work, and he knows he can play a lot better, and he knows, immediately he went to, I need to hold on to the football, and I got to not do some stupid stuff. I can work with a guy like that, because that guy's going to go get in the film room. He's going to go put the reps in. I mean, yeah, I think his future's bright, and this is exciting stuff for me.
When I talked to him before the season, I talked to him about, hey, you have won in everything you've done, winning especially like wrestling, state championships. That's tough. You're individually doing that. Javelin throwing to win the state championship, that's an individual thing. And then, of course, with the team, and he talked about some of these teammates who made Orem High School heck of a team to win a couple of championships, but he wins these state titles. And he said, well, the thing in my mind is, he goes, I know somebody's going to win or somebody's going to lose, and I will do whatever I need to do to win. That's been his attitude, and it's obviously showed in what he's done in his career.
Yeah, it was interesting. The question was posed to him, like, is there a play that stands out in your mind? And
It was immediately to a bad one.
Yeah, it was posed in a way to highlight a good thing, but the play that he wanted to talk about was underthrowing Terrell Vaughn.
Yeah.
And, recognizing, again, like what you said, he's recognizing he's not on time. He's not quite there just yet. And so he has things to work on. But it's a good sign of somebody who wants to go back to work and get better and be the guy for his team, because he needs to be.
Yeah.
And he is now the guy.
And if you look at, the greatest competitors that are out there, that is their attitude. It's never good enough. It's never perfect enough. Nick Saban, you win by 55, and the first thing he talks about is that one play that we screwed up on, right? That's just Michael Jordan was the same way. Kobe was the same way. These guys just have this insane expectation of perfection, and it's why they're so good. So, I just love the fact that, the first interview we get with him, you get a little sense of his expectation of himself, and you can't coach that.
That's absolutely right. All right, we'll see if there's some text comments about him when we come back, and then we've got one more. I think Byron Bonds, they talked to post-game. White Pine Funeral Services, the primary provider of funeral and cremation services here in the Cache Valley area. They creating healing experiences for your family and loved ones in tough situations. WhitePineFunerals.com, their webpage. And we'll be back at Game Day on KVNU and The Fan. On our phone line, still available, too, at 753-KVNU as we hit 11 o'clock. After the Aggies lose to BYU 38-26, the final score. And we'll be right back. And the text line is 339-0321.
News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
We would like to welcome Prodigy Brewing to the heart of Logan, Cache Valley's first and only brew pub with family-friendly dining. With an upscale twist on classic brew pub fare and ingredients sourced as local as possible, they are thrilled to be part of the heart of Cache Valley. Bring the family and try their wood-fired pizza or their mouth-watering signature burger. Located on beautiful Center Street, open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Pizza, burgers, and brews. Tasty.
Advanced Heating and AC, the two-time gold medal winner in Best in Northern Utah. They're teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you the best furnace units available. And now's the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, 752-7272. Or stop by their showroom west of DI. And online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from S.E. Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to seneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
You're first and goal at the 10-yard line with seconds left on the clock. Your running back is poised for the game-winning touchdown, but before you can make the snap, the opposing team just takes the ball and locks it in a safe, and they won't give you the combination unless you pay them $10,000. That's exactly how ransomware works. And in 2021, 2 out of every 3 organizations fell victim to ransomware attacks. Protect your business with Les Olson Security Suite from Les Olson IT. Learn more at lesolson.com.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by Aegis Home Health and Hospice on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
And again, we're here tonight to wrap up BYU's win over the Aggies. And again, 38-26. Remember, Utah State was a 24-point underdog in the game. So Utah State inside that margin against BYU. And it's Aggies had, what was it, a 14 lead in the second quarter. It was 17-17 at the half. And then BYU did score, grabbed the lead at 24-17 the first possession of the second half. The Aggies only kicked a field goal to make it 24-20, and then BYU went out by 31-20 with a scoring drive. Then it kind of stayed that way until BYU scored and made it 38-20 with 8:18 to go before Utah State got that last score in the game. BYU did miss a couple field goals there down the stretch. So, again, 38-26 the final. And anything in the text line we need to talk about before we go to Byron Vaughn's?
Just a couple more texts coming through. This is from 5338. It says, I think it's fair to say there's officially a quarterback controversy with the Aggies. This team seemed to respond much better to Lagat. Of course, this was before the news about Bonner. I continue to be disappointed by our pass defense. Wasn't the secondary supposed to be the strength of the defense?
At one time, I think the coaches thought going in that was the case, and
that's what I thought too.
So.
Also, speaking of the number 19, Xavier Williams was number 19 on the top 20 Aggies list. Seems to have disappeared into the background.
Yeah, number 19, Ike Larson, is making plays whenever he's out there. It seems like we notice him. But we have Xavier Williams.
Ziggy did get in the game late in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, so he got in there somewhat. So
I think it's just a function of what they feel he can do. 6410. Can you speak to, okay, never mind, we did that one also. If you are the offensive coordinator, what do you do to keep the defense from dropping 8 in coverage? Last 2 games shows that's how you stop us.
Okay, there we go. Mr. Bohm's our football guy.
You got to run the ball. I mean, that's the answer. You have to force them to get out of that coverage.
That's okay.
In that case, what we did in the first half is what you have to do. You run the ball. You got to get touchdowns, right? Because if you're going to commit to that level with the run, you got to eat up clock and you got to score touchdowns, because you're just not going to get the ball a lot, and you can't get behind, just like we saw tonight. Because
once you get behind, then you eventually cannot run the ball all the time.
Because I mean, you saw it in those last couple possessions. Cooper had great protection. He's sitting back there. He goes 1, he goes 2, he goes 3. There's just nobody to throw it to.
Take off and
it's because you got a guy squatting underneath. You got a safety over the top. There is nothing you can do. So you got to just run the rock.
Okay.
A couple of more questions talking about the offense. It says, I think we do great in the first half, surprising the team with our defense, but then they adjust at halftime, and we don't do as well about stopping the run or pass. Also, why do we still run up to the line and stop for 15 seconds and look at the sideline and wait? Also, when the BYU went up tempo, should that not be something the defense was used to, but it looked like we were not? And then also, does Cooper give away his passes plays like Bonner does by just looking at the receivers? Just wondering.
What's your feeling about that, Ryan?
There was definitely a couple of those. That's a bit of a function of inexperience, but I think he was looking guys off pretty well. Also, I just think we can't really judge the passing game from this game. That coverage is the fact that he threw for as much as he threw with a couple touchdowns. It's pretty impressive. So I'm going to really withhold judgment in terms of his ability to scan the field and make good reads, because that's going into the teeth of a defense, and that's the first thing that Coach Anderson said was like, look, what they were doing on defense, that's hard to throw against. Anybody would have a hard time throwing against that.
Some more comments about offense. I can't be the only one who thinks it's time to move on from Anthony Tucker. He loses his head in the second half every game and refuses to pass. You think that our quarterbacks can't throw because he never frees them up till it's over. Also says you're unprepared if you have to clock the ball after getting a first down. Needed to get a field goal at the end of the first half.
Yeah, there were we had timeouts on that play, but the clock's running down, and sometimes you hurry and get that, and when they do wind the clock again, you just. I've seen teams do that. Obviously,
it was curious as they had a timeout to use.
Yeah, they still had two. I think at that point.
Yeah, they should have called the timeout there instead of spiking the ball. You need those downs. You need an extra shot.
Because eventually we got behind the chains, and then we were really struggling and all that, too.
So that was puzzling. I do think that when we went fast, we scored a touchdown, right? We caught them substituting, scored a touchdown. So it's a really valid question. I think I haven't been super impressed with Tucker's ability to get the next play quick, right? Because that is something that we've always talked about trying to do. But so far this year, that touchdown is maybe the only play I can remember where we really did go tempo and it hurt the defense, right? We were able to take advantage of it. We should do that more. I love, if we're going to run this style of offense, you got to go fast.
And last year we were able to do that.
Right, but what that requires from the OC is you've got several plays ready to go. And I think he might be overanalyzing it and really trying to see what the whole defense is looking like. And to some degree, you're saying I don't really care what they look like because they're going to be out of position because we're going so fast. And I just don't know if we're committed to that right now.
That series is talking about here, that was the play where on the first play, it's the illegal downfield long play. Then we come right back, though. Cobbs catches a short one. Then Vaughn catches one enough where Cobb gets the first down. And then Vaughn's catch 24 yards, takes it to the 40-yard line of BYU. Time running down. We're under a minute to play in the first half. And then we clocked it on first down through incomplete. And then eventually we're at the 40-yard line as the half's running out, and you have to kick it, and the punt goes in the end zone. Then they just take one knee. So we lost that scoring opportunity there when it is tied 17-17.
Let's see. Then one more from 1790. You're not playing to win if you run the ball down 3 scores in the fourth quarter.
Again,
maybe you can't throw the ball, though, in those situations. You might as well maybe get a bigger play running the ball than you can passing it.
Take what the defense gives you.
Yeah. See, most of the time I would agree with you. In this circumstance today, I disagree with that because you're setting him up to fail. If you want him to try and throw the ball into that defense, you're going to throw interceptions.
All right. Riverwoods Conference Center believes your event should always be your way, and they have the versatile event center for any event, no matter small, big, in between, whatever, and on the beautiful Logan River, plus the Elements Restaurant at Riverwoods. They bring you, again, we have Byron Vaughns after the game, the defensive guy, and the defensive stats hadn't loaded yet here. Let's see. Nope, they still haven't for the game, but here's Byron Vaughns.
You guys did it. I mean, I'm sure. First of all, I had to feel good to get back out there after having to sit out last game with the ankle injury. But how good did it feel to kind of put Hall under duress there early in the game and let them know that you guys were here to play?
Well, can I say this first? If anybody's recording, if anybody's recording this, I want to apologize to my mom. She's gonna cuss me out for wearing this. I just don't have a haircut, Mom. But it felt good being able to come out and get on them early. It sucks that 5 games in, still no sacks. I think we're probably the #1 team in pressures, but no sacks probably in the nation. Felt good getting on them early. It feels good always to hit a quarterback when that's a free hit. So I feel good hitting the quarterback.
Byron, go ahead, Jake.
Oh, thanks. Coach mentioned a couple times that the rivalry just got a little chippy. You had to walk away, and the refs credited you doing a good job. Kind of what happened there, and how were you able to keep your composure?
Just being in those trenches, fighting those big boys, and they might throw a dirty punch. We hit the ground together. They might try to lay on top of me, and you're not better to do that to me. It's gonna be a chippy match. So it was at times when I would have kind of long arm a guy, he'd knock his hand off. I'd get in his face, and I'd be like, okay, let me not get a 15-yard penalty. Because I know that 15-yard can definitely impact the team. When you saw last week, we punted from the 5-yard line for, of course, 15-yard penalty. So I know being an older guy, 15-yard penalties can definitely hurt us drastically.
Byron, how have you seen the defense progress as a unit just week by week today? Do you feel like this was your best performance, or what are your overall assessment?
Well, the defense is definitely growing. We got young linebackers that are talking with the older linebackers, so we all have an understanding on what's going on. We understand that BYU, they're a great team, and when they get rolling, they were going to pick up the fast-paced. Yeah, the defense is still working. Obviously, we let 28 points on the board. I mean, it doesn't matter the situation we're in. We're taught to make the other team kick a field goal. And we didn't do too much of that tonight, letting those guys in the end zone. So we still have a lot of work to do. But from week 0 to now, we have definitely progressed from running to the ball, hitting, tackling. I feel like we're getting all around better as a unit.
What adjustments, Byron, did you see from BYU? I mean, you held them 107 yards in the first half, and 105 of those yards were on 3 plays. So take away 3 plays, and you really shut them down. What adjustments do you feel they made that kind of helped them get going in the second half?
Coming out in 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, maybe trying to get the tight end up to a smaller guy on our defense. A lot of zone schemes. They brought out a lot of RPO plays that we didn't practice over the week. So they came out halftime with the tempo that we didn't see all first half and plays that we didn't see all first half. And that was a very good adjustment by the OC over there at BYU, just coming out and seeing they couldn't run the ball, so let's pass, and then run a few times.
Again, that's Byron Vaughns after the game with the press. And again, he's mad he hasn't had a sack. The team had 5 going into the game, and MJ Tafisi got 1 tonight in the game that I had on my charts for a sack. But we do have one of the, to be honest, maybe we should have more sacks because we have all these tackles for loss on the season. We're one of the top 10 teams in the nation for tackles for loss.
Yeah, they like you said, they're doing well at getting after opposing teams behind the line and creating pressures. They're not getting the quarterback specifically, but I mean tonight they had. I charted 6. I don't know if they'll go specifically to 6 tackles for loss, but you know, the defense does a pretty good job of getting into that opposite side of the field and creating some havoc. They haven't been able to get the quarterback, though. I mean, they created hurries, and they hit the quarterback. But, credit Byron Vaughns is definitely a big part of that. Daniel Grishik as well.
But Vaughns definitely saw that BYU did change a little bit there in the second half, too.
Yeah, that's maybe my biggest criticism of this game is that we had an excellent first half, and then we came out in the second half, and BYU made the adjustments they needed to, and we kind of didn't. And so a good OC or DC is going to come out and make those changes, right? Vaughns is like, they were throwing stuff at us that we had never seen. We didn't practice any of that stuff. And that's what should happen, right? So you got to ask, okay, Tucker, your game plan was spot on for the first half. What's Act 2? Right.
And maybe he's talking about Bonda maybe needs to defensively to do the same thing.
Same thing.
You know, remember the Weber State game, even though we hadn't played very well, still, 14-12 at the half, or it was very close. And then we didn't do much in the second half at all in that game, too.
Yeah, so that's definitely on the coaches in the sense of, it's their responsibility to go out there and give these kids the best chance to succeed. And, I don't know how well that happened in this game.
Okay. Anything more that we need to talk about? I mean, we have gone on for quite a while here. We've had quite a few text comments, and it's getting later.
Just a few more that have just come in. Okay. This is from 5180, must be new to the area, saying that, wait, what? Utah and BYU won't come to Logan for football or basketball? What's up with that? Still trying to learn the subtle nuance that is Aggie sports. Thanks, love the show.
Okay. Well, they're too. Those conferences are too big to make the trip to Logan.
1326. I enjoyed hearing some BYU faithful boo their team.
Oh,
there were some boos in that first half.
Yeah, quite a few. When they went off the field at the end of the first half, they weren't happy.
And then finally, 6823. A couple of texts here. Let's see. I got to still believe and keep fighting as an Aggie. And that's really what Coach Anderson was echoing, too, is that at the end of his press conference, he's like, I don't know who's listening, but this team needs you. Yeah. They're making strides. They're making improvements. And, look, they still have an opportunity to be a bowl team. And, gosh, if they win this game next upcoming Saturday, they could still be in a strong position to win their division. Mm-hmm. So it ain't over.
It isn't. And Air Force is coming up this next week. It'll be a week from Saturday at 5 o'clock for that game. So I guess we'll probably be back at that time and talk more about it. Looking forward to it. Eric and Ryan, anything more from you guys?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm just glad that we came out, we improved, and again, I hate BYU. I wish we would have won, but I'm going to chalk this one up for the best game we've played this year.
Okay, and the coach said that too.
Yep,
that was his first comment.
I am encouraged, even though still a little disappointed.
Okay, and Eric.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan. I mean, it's showing signs of improvement offensively, defensively. Still some things where Utah State got in their own way. If better today than it was last Saturday, if that trend can continue where it's headed, this team is going to be competitive. They're going to pick up some wins, and I think they're displaying a fun brand of football when it comes together right. Now, can they do that for a full 4 quarters? And get a victory? That's what we're still hoping for.
And it'll be under Cooper Legas, as we found out, because Logan Bonner's out for the year, is what the coach said after the game, if you did not hear that part as well. So thank you guys very much, Ryan and Eric. And again, the high schools will be back on our radio groups tomorrow night with the region football games going on. I know Logan and Green Canyon are playing at the stadium tomorrow night, so that's where their game will be. No two businesses are the same. Why should banking solutions be any different? And it is Cache Valley Bank that brings you our final stats in the game. The Aggies actually had 24 first downs to BYU's 20. Utah State 6 for 17 on third down conversions, and they were about 50% in the first half. That's been a struggle all year. And the Aggies end up 5 yards less than BYU at the end of the game. 392 for Utah State, 397 for BYU. So that's not a huge offensive game for either team. BYU just 117 rushing, but that is like 138 in the second half. And the Aggies end up with a 204 rushing game against BYU. Normally, if they rush the ball decent against BYU, they've only done it 3 of the last 10 years. This is the first time I think they've lost the game when they've had that kind of running against BYU. Only 188 passing for the Aggies, 19 of 32. And Hall, remember last week, was great against Wyoming. Is 18 for 28 tonight in the game for BYU. And they had 10 penalties, 82 yards. The Aggies had 8 for 62. Utah State had a 33-20, and BYU had a 26-39 as far as possessions. It was mentioned Tyler went for 104 yards, 5.8 average. Legas had the 52. Briggs had 46. Williams had 2 yards rushing. Cobbs caught 10 passes for 96 yards. Vaughn caught 5 for 46. Tyler 2 for 18. McGriff 1 for 28. And Briggs 1 for no yards. And we mentioned Legas passing on the night as well, and they still don't have any defensive statistics up. Coles was 2 for 2 with his field goals. Constantly, the punter tonight, Constantly did not have a particularly great night. 152-yarder in the game, but he had a touchback. He had 2 of his 4 inside the 20-yard mark. And we mentioned, I think, most of the BYU team stats. And again, individually, we mentioned Hall 17 of 27. Hill was 1 for 1 for 6. And he threw that back to Hall. Brooks had 90 yards. Davis had 39. And Epps caught 5 for 86 as their leading receiver. So that's final stats for Cache Valley Bank. So join us again next Saturday. So it'll be 3:30 for the pregame coverage on Saturday for Aggie Game Day on the Fan and KVNU. And then the game's at 5, FS1 for TV, but we hope you're going to be in the stadium. Then we'll be here right after that game. So for Eric and for Ryan, for everybody who texted in tonight, didn't get any callers, but let's do it the next time as the Aggies play football again. And the final score, BYU 38, Utah State 26. For the sponsors, good night from the Radio Ranch again for Aggie Game Day.